Hey chickpeas, do you know what your period should look like? Is pain normal? Should you be clotting? How long should you be bleeding? What about PMS? I already know if you've complained about anything period related to your doctor, they've said one of two things. Try birth control, or that's just normal if you have a period. That's not acceptable. Let's start with how long you should be bleeding. Anywhere from 3 to 7 days is considered normal. Anything less than 3 days can be considered too light, and if you're bleeding longer than 7 days, it's too heavy and could indicate issues with your estrogen levels. But if you're in that 3 to 7 day window, you're on the right track. And I want you to remember that you're gonna count bleeding as the first day that you get a full bright red bleeding. Don't count the days you're spotting. If you don't need a tampon or a pad, it's not a full bleed day yet. The next thing that you're gonna wanna know is your overall cycle length. This means from day 1 of your period to the next day 1 of your period. This varies based on who you ask. I personally like to see a cycle that's less than 36 days and longer than 24. But tracking your ovulation will be the biggest thing that we can do. If you're ovulating consistently, that's more important than the exact length of your cycle. Typically, when you have a regular cycle, it means that you're probably ovulating, but we don't always know that. You can have consistent periods and still not always ovulate. So unless you're tracking whether you're ovulating, we don't know for certain. We're gonna talk about how to track ovulation in other videos, so stay tuned. The next thing that you wanna keep track of, pain and PMS. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Pain is never normal. I don't care if that's period pain, joint pain, back pain, neck pain, no amount of pain is ever normal. So if you've been told that your period pain is normal, you better run. Pain is your body's way of alerting you that something is wrong. Discomfort during your period, totally normal. You get some light cramping, that's normal. Your uterus is contracting and expelling its lining. Of course, it's not gonna be fun, it's not gonna be pleasant, but it shouldn't be painful. If you're canceling your plans, if you're staying home from work or school, you're feeling dizzy, nauseated, you're throwing up, none of that is normal. And if the pain is so bad that it's causing any of that, not normal. The discomfort that you should feel is like when you work out at the gym and you're sore the next day. You're not calling into work because your legs are sore and stiff. That's the amount of discomfort that's normal in a period. If you are doubled over in pain and not able to function, that's not okay. And on that note, PMS symptoms like mood swings, irritability, breast tenderness, period poops, migraines, none of those are normal either. I'm sorry to break it to you. But the good news is, you can fix it. I've worked with so many women on their PMS symptoms and they're like, hold on, I didn't know I didn't have to be super emotional and moody before my period started. I didn't know my boobs didn't have to be sore. I didn't know I could avoid migraines. Yeah. You shouldn't be experiencing any of that. Okay, lastly, let's talk about blood loss. How much should you be bleeding? Blood loss anywhere from 20 to 80 milliliters is considered normal. If you're bleeding more than 80 milliliters, that's when we consider that heavy bleeding. So how do you know if you're bleeding too much? You can measure it. If you use a cup, check how many milliliters it should say on the inside that yours holds and how many times you're filling it up. If you use tampons, a super tampon holds up to 12 milliliters when it's fully saturated. A regular tampon holds up to 7 milliliters. So track how many tampons you're going through in a period. Some other ways of knowing if you're having a heavy period is if you're waking up at night to change your period products, if you're doubling up on products, like you're using a pad and a tampon together, your clots are bigger than the size of a quarter, or you're soaking through a pad or a tampon every hour or more for 4 or more hours. Any of these can indicate issues that your estrogen levels are really high or that you're not getting rid of your estrogen levels. So watch my last video to learn more about what's going on during your period. If you have issues with your periods and you want to work on them without birth control, like and subscribe for more.